Dear reader, according to Islamic tradition, it is believed that Jesus was not crucified, but rather someone else was made to resemble him on the cross. While this perspective is intriguing, I'd like to explore it further. In Surah An-Nisa 157, indeed, we have killed the Messiah, Jesus the son of Mary, the messenger of Allah. And they did not kill him, nor did they crucify him, but another was made to resemble him to them. Firstly, the absence of historical records or visual evidence depicting this look-alike raises questions. If indeed there was a substitute on the cross, why haven't we encountered any accounts or images of this individual? It seems peculiar that such a significant event would lack substantial documentation. Secondly, the matter of burial remains enigmatic. If Jesus did not undergo crucifixion, where was this substitute buried? The silence surrounding their final resting place leaves room for speculation. Perhaps there are hidden narratives waiting to be uncovered. Lastly, let's consider the emotional aspect. Jesus had devoted followers. According to the book of Mark, many women are present, among them Mary Magdalene, Mary, mother of James, and Mary of Clopas, commonly known as the Three Marys. The Gospel of Matthew also mentions several women being present, among them Mary Magdalene Mary, mother of James, and the mother of Zebedee's children. In the book of John 19:26-27, John alone, among the apostles, remained near Jesus at the foot of the cross on Calvary alongside myrrh bearers and numerous other women. Following the instruction of Jesus from the cross, John took Mary, the mother of Jesus, into his care as the last legacy of Jesus. Also, when the centurion who stood there in front of Jesus saw how he died, he said, "Surely this man was the Son of God." Finally, Pilate gave his permission, so Joseph came and took Jesus' body away. Nicodemus, who earlier had come to Jesus at night, went with Joseph. He brought about 75 pounds of myrrh and aloes. These two men took Jesus' body and wrapped it with the spices in pieces of linen cloth, which is how they bury the dead. Did they mourn the loss of their loved one? The absence of any historical mention of this alternate figure's life and connections is thought-provoking. Let's delve into the fascinating realm of Old Testament prophecies concerning Jesus' death and resurrection. These ancient predictions provide compelling evidence for his divine mission and the fulfillment of God's plan. Psalm 22:16-18. This psalm, written approximately 1,000 years before Jesus' crucifixion, remarkably foretells specific elements of his suffering on the cross. It states that the Messiah's hands and feet would be pierced, Psalm 22:16, which aligns with the piercing of Jesus' hands and feet during crucifixion, 1. Additionally, it predicts that the Messiah's bones would remain unbroken, Psalm 22:17, a detail fulfilled when Jesus' legs were not broken, John 19:33. The casting of lots for the Messiah's clothing is also mentioned, Psalm 22:18, which occurred during Jesus' crucifixion, Matthew 27:35. Isaiah 53, often referred to as the suffering servant prophecy, Isaiah 53, provides profound insights into the Messiah's mission. Written more than 700 years before Jesus' birth, it outlines key aspects of his life and death. The Messiah would be rejected, Isaiah 53:3, Luke 13:34. His death would serve as a vicarious sacrifice for the sins of his people, Isaiah 53:5-9, 2 Corinthians 5:21. He would remain silent in front of his accusers, Isaiah 53:7, 1 Peter 2:23. The Messiah would be buried with the rich, Isaiah 53:9, Matthew 27:57-60. He would share his death with criminals, Isaiah 53, 12, Mark 15:27, Psalm 16:10. King David in Psalm 16 prophetically declares, "For you will not abandon my soul to Sheol, nor will you allow your Holy One to undergo decay." This verse, written a millennium before Jesus' birth, specifically points to his resurrection from the dead. On the Jewish feast day of Shavuot, Pentecost, Peter boldly proclaimed that God had raised Jesus, the Jewish Messiah, from the dead, fulfilling David's prophecy. Additional evidence. Beyond these specific prophecies, there are over 300 Old Testament passages that point to Jesus as the Messiah. His birthplace, lineage, and method of execution were beyond his control and precisely fulfilled the prophecies. The statistical improbability of one man accidentally fulfilling just 8 of these prophecies is staggering, or 1 in 10 to the 17th power. That's an incredibly rare occurrence. The cumulative weight of these prophecies serves as compelling evidence of Jesus' messiahship. When discussing whether Jesus was crucified or merely resembled, it's essential to consider evidence from various sources. The Bible, for instance, provides historical accounts and discoveries related to this matter. While the Quran asserts that Jesus was not crucified, the Christian tradition holds a different view based on biblical texts. These texts describe the events surrounding Jesus' crucifixion, including eyewitness testimonies, prophecies, and archaeological findings. Eyewitness accounts. The New Testament Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, record the crucifixion in detail. These texts were written by individuals who either witnessed the events or interviewed those who did. Their consistent testimony emphasizes Jesus' crucifixion, the soldiers casting lots for his clothing and his final words on the cross. Prophecies fulfilled. As mentioned earlier, Old Testament prophecy specifically foretold the Messiah's suffering, death, and resurrection. These prophecies align with Jesus' life and the events surrounding his crucifixion. For instance, Psalm 22 and Isaiah 53 provide remarkable parallels to Jesus' experience on the cross. Archaeological evidence. Archaeological discoveries have corroborated aspects of biblical accounts. The Shroud of Turin, though debated, is believed by some to be the burial cloth of Jesus, bearing marks consistent with crucifixion wounds. Additionally, historical records mention crucifixion as a common Roman execution method during that era. With this respectful dialogue, I appreciate your openness, and I encourage us both to seek truth while honoring our respective faiths.